Coming up on Look Today, well, the Saratoga Springs Charter Commission met last night and they voted to hold the charter referendum in the general elections on November 8th. I've got details. And healthy choices, a real conversation about drug and alcohol abuse took place at SUNY Adirondack last night. More on that coming up. And renovations are still in full swing at the Strand Theatre in Hudson Falls. I've got more details. It's all ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone, I'm Jay Hood Jackson and this is Look Today. Tonight's program, I sit down with Bridget Martin. She's running for mayor in South Glens Falls and she's here to talk about her vision and the elections that are happening on March 21st. I also sit down with Dr. Mary Nell Morgan. She's a professional teacher and singer, and she's here to talk about Black History Month in part 2 of my interview with her. Plus, we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties, but first, these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, big one, Saratoga Springs Charter Commission voted last night to hold the charter referendum in the general election on November 8th. Now, you might remember originally they were trying to hold this in a special election right after Memorial Day. Well, that got voted down. The vote was unanimous, 15-0. Now, recently, the Saratoga City Council voted 3-2 against that budget for a special election that would have happened on May 30th. After the commission heard from the general public and elected officials, they decided that participation in the voting process would be a lot greater in a general election. Now, we will have more on this when we speak to one of the commission members later today. In other news, well, a forum on drug and alcohol abuse took place at SUNY Adirondack last night. The Healthy Choices, a real conversation about alcohol and drug use, featured community members, health officials, and law enforcers to speak on their personal experiences regarding this topic. Well, Kate Hogan, Warren County DA, was at the event where she spoke about the law and drug abuse.
Because if you do make those real tragic mistakes and end up killing people on a road or dying yourself, you are either going to be dead from your conduct or unfortunately incarcerated. And that is not how you want to live your life.
Well, you could say that. What an epidemic. Switching from news to weather. Well, today saw temperatures in the high 50s, and we got some rain. Let's see how the rest of the week is shaping up. For a more detailed look at our weather, let's head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast.
Thank you, Jesse. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far, and to all of our viewers as well. We're going to continue to see a chance of some rainfall out there and some flood watches in effect. That's because we've been seeing some very warm conditions, some snow melting going on, but that'll all start to ease as we continue on over the next 24 hours and this frontal boundary pushes through. High pressure behind that should give us some sunshine, but some very heavy rainfall at times could push through, especially down to the south. For us, we'll see some isolated showers and even a few thunderstorms out there as this front breezes on by. Then a cool down is expected. You can see temperatures around the northeast still in those 30s for the evening hours. Should stay just above freezing by a tick, 33 degrees in the Tri-North counties. Showers and isolated thunderstorms could see rainfall totals maybe up to a ½ inch in some spots. Through the daytime tomorrow, though, clearing back out, and we'll get breezy. Winds gusting between 25 to 35 miles per hour and a high of about 35 to 36 under partly sunny skies. And that warm up won't be going anywhere as temperatures will stay very steady throughout the most of the daytime hours. We'll see breezier conditions, as I mentioned, about 34 to 35 as we walk out the door for the early morning hours. Then a big time cool down on the way. Friday, morning low 15, high 31. Single digit overnight lows on Saturday and Sunday. Very cold air back in the picture will really allow things to freeze back up solid, but we do anticipate another warming trend as we look ahead towards Monday with that 30% chance of rain. Well, that's it from the First Look Weather Center. Now let's get back to you, Jesse.
Thanks, Brian. Well, the sun is coming out, but the temperature is going to drop 20 degrees. Crazy. All right, back to the news. Well, I guess you could say renovations are in full swing at the Strand Theatre in Hudson Falls, and Jonathan Newell and his team are at work preparing the main stage. Well, the last of the offices are being removed, and the second floor is being dismantled to establish the big hall for the main stage for a premiere concert that's probably going to happen later on this spring. Now, as you can see, we were at the Strand today, and we also had a chance to sit down with John and talk about it.
But at least when people come in, they can really get the idea now, because for so long it was covered by sheetrock and drop ceiling. It was the town offices. It was really hard to figure out how there was a theater in here sometimes, but people will see it now. So we're really excited to have our first few shows.
Now, Jonathan will be in for an interview, maybe next week, to talk about the schedule, because they're starting to line up performances. Up next, I sit down with Bridget Martin. She's running for mayor in South Glens Falls, and she's here to talk about her vision and the elections that are happening on March 21st. Plus, I also sit down with Dr. Mary Nell Morgan. She's a professor, teacher, and singer, and she's here to talk about Black History Month in part 2 of my interview with her. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea, how about join us for an interview? Give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. A couple of lookouts for tonight. We ran a little shy on time last night, and I just wanted to thank the Glens Falls Coalition. And of course, there's Ed Moore, Elizabeth Miller, Dan Burke, and some others. Purchasing the hockey team is a big deal and really secures Glens Falls' future as the hockey town. So congratulations to all of you for making that move. I also want to mention Kate Hogan. Kate is a friend of mine and the DA in Warren County, and she's always been very involved in issues concerning families and drug abuse and those kinds of things. And it was just great that she showed up last night for this forum that we reported on earlier in the program. And it's just such an important issue, and it is an epidemic, okay? And last but not least, my friend Jonathan Newell. He and his team are just ripping that Strand Theatre apart in Hudson Falls, and they're really going to turn it into quite a venue. John will be on next week because he's got a lot of plans for artists that are going to be at the Strand Theatre. Did I say that correctly? I think so. Okay, that's it. Tonight on Look TV, it's a Saratoga City Council meeting. Tune in tomorrow night for the stories that matter to you. Good night, everyone.